What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Idaho Rifleman. In recent months and years, there's been a lot of truly outrageous things said about firearms by our elected leaders, the people that we have chosen to represent us in government. And, today I'm going to do my best to show you the truth. I was going to say debunk these truly outrageous statements, but I don't want to debunk them. I want to show you the truth. So we're going to put that to the test today. We're going to put to the test everything from this right here creates an exit wound that's a foot wide, and the reason you never see images after a mass shooting is because there's nothing left. There's no people left after being shot by one of these weapons of mass destruction. To this blowing the lungs out of the body, but also handguns creating wounds so small that doctors and surgeons can't find them. Yes, two different politicians saying two different things about the same handgun. So we're going to head over to the range here. We're going to shoot some ballistic gel, and I'm going to just flat out show you the truth, and we'll see what that looks like. So let's get started.
With assault rifles, exit wounds can be a foot wide.
Alright, the first truth I want to show you is a 55 grain 5.56 full metal jacket. Does the AR-15 in fact create a wound, an exit wound, that is over a foot wide and decimate bodies to the point there are none left after a mass shooting? Does that happen? We're going to shoot the ballistic gel and find out. Let's go check it out. Okay, first things first. This gel is supposed to be 6x6 by 16 inches. It's a little bit smaller than that because it's been remelted so many times. It's actually 6x5. There's our entrance wound. Very, very small. We've got a little bit, very small channel initially. Kind of tumbles out. That is 2 inches maybe. The round actually deviated and came out the bottom of the gel. And here's our exit wound.
There's a reason that we never see these bodies after a mass murder. It's because many of them no longer exist.
Let's try a 55 grain hollow point. Let's take a look. Once again, we have a very small entrance wound. A little bit bigger wound channel. And so there's a piece of our round right here. But it did actually make it out the back. There's some little fragments right here.
9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body.
Will the 9mm blow the lung out of the body? Ballistic gel, again, is a very ballistically similar comparison to the human body, considering muscle and tissue and fat and skin, all of that is involved. Doesn't take into account for bone. If you hit bone, your round's going to actually stop much sooner. So we're going to try a full metal jacket, 9mm, to see if it will in fact carry enough ballistic gel with it to simulate blowing the lung out of the body. By the way, the 9mm is also what they just bought over 1 million rounds to arm their new 87,000 IRS agents. Let's go take a look. All right, Beretta 9mm, entrance wound, small wound channel, a little bit of an energy dump right here, carried on, came out the back. Very, very small wound channel right here.
Handguns, they tell me, often create small and very subtle wounds, wounds that can even be difficult to find.
So, what about a hollow point? 115 grain grizzly hollow point. Let's see if that blew the lung out of the body. I think I forgot to hit record on that one. Okay, so there's our entrance wound. A bit of a wound channel, but it stopped inside the gel. So that didn't blow the lung out of the body. Plus P hollow point. Let's take a look. There's our plus P hit. A little bit of a wound channel. And it stopped just as far into the gel as the standard hollow point did. Both of those rounds stopped at 14 inches. Maybe this is the round. This is the Browning X-Point defensive ammo. We're going to try the Browning X-Point one more time. My point of aim was just a little bit off. We hit low and went to the bottom of the table. We hit right here, and we zipped all the way through the gel with minimal wound channel. That's supposed to be a defensive expanding hollow point, so we're going to try that one more time and see if, because I hit so high in the corner, if there was less resistance or what happened there, because that should have stopped in the gel. All right, one more shot with this. That's an expanding hollow point. That should have stopped inside the gel. So let's see what happens here. Let's check that again. Okay, another good hit. Another minimal wound channel. And that looks like it balled up in there and hit one of the other rounds. Alright, and just because the 5.56 went through the bottom of the gel with the full metal jacket, we're going to shoot it one more time here and see if we can get it to actually come out the back of the gel. Alright, let's take a look. There's our exit wound right there. Very, very small, less than the size of my fingertip. So a very far cry from a foot wide exit wound.
Put that double barrel shotgun and fired 2 blasts.
Other thing that we've heard, is just buy a shotgun, man. Just buy a shotgun. Fire 2 blasts. My shoulder's still bruised from the last time I shot a 12 gauge. I thought about dragging Mrs. Rifleman out here, but I didn't want to inflict that on her either. The second half of that is you don't need an AR-15 to defend yourself. They're harder to use, harder to control, harder to aim. Well, what I'm going to do here is, you've seen me shoot the AR-15 today. I'm going to drop an old clip of me shooting a 12 gauge and just getting absolutely rocked by it. So, enjoy that. Woo! Yeah!
You don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim, it's harder to use, and in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself. Buy a shotgun.
The last thing I'm going to talk about here is my fully semi-automatic assault weapon, otherwise known as the semi-automatic AR-15. There is no fully semi-automatic. You have fully automatic, which is heavily regulated already by the ATF. You need permits and licenses and tax stamps and all of the things to legally own a fully automatic. This is not that. This is a semi-automatic. Semi-automatic being defined as one function per single pull of the trigger or single action of the trigger. You squeeze the trigger, gun goes bang. Very simple. All three of these weapons function exactly the same way. This is a rifle. It functions exactly the same as the pistol I'm going to show you and exactly the same as the revolver I'm going to show you. So here we go. Ooh. All three of these firearms, though very different, that is a double action revolver, semi-automatic Beretta APX, and the AR-15. All three of these function exactly the same way. One shot per single function of the trigger. I had to pull the trigger each time to get these to go off. That's how they work. Fully automatic. If this rifle were to function, and it is clear, by me holding down the trigger and it continues cycling rounds as I'm holding the trigger, then that is a fully automatic. Now, you want to talk about bump stocks, binary triggers, all the stuff like that. Binary trigger is still per single function of the trigger. I squeeze the trigger, rifle fires. I let off the trigger, that is a separate function of the trigger by technicality. That's a binary trigger. Shot, shot. Bump stock uses the recoil of the rifle to bump your hand, in a matter of speaking, to allow you to fire more quickly, but it is still semi-automatic. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Idaho Rifleman. I apologize if it was a little too edgy or political for some of you, but I'll be honest, I'm tired of the misinformation being spread by politicians, by the media, by athletes, or just people of influence who have not the first clue about firearms, how they function, what they are, anything like that. I'm beyond tired of it. And I think the most frustrating part of that to me is I don't truly know if it is just raw ignorance, if it's blatant misinformation to mislead and misguide the public, or what it is. I truly don't know. But I honestly don't even know if they wholeheartedly believe it, or if there's just soapbox and grandstanding. Regardless, it is beyond frustrating to me, and I want to take this opportunity to educate those who may be seeing a video like this for the first time, who may not know the first thing about firearms. I know a lot of you watching this already know this stuff, but it needs to be out there. I mean, we need to share this with the people who are actively trying to take away our firearms rights given to us in the Constitution. By the way, Marbury versus Madison, 1803, any law passed that is repugnant to the Constitution is considered null and void. So that being said, I'm going to leave that at that, because I don't want to get labeled as a terrorist or anything else by YouTube or anyone else, the FBI for that matter. There's plenty of that going on right now too. I'm going to leave it at that. But I don't want to get too far down that path and be seen as just another wild extremist video or someone who's so far right. I don't want to get down that path. I want this to truly be educational. I want this to be something that the neighbors are out shooting too right now, which I think is awesome. But I want this to be something that you can show someone who is talking to you about all of these things and show them that no, the 5.56 doesn't leave a foot wide exit wound. No, the 9mm doesn't blow the lung out of the body, and it also doesn't leave an entry or exit wound so small that surgeons can't find it. I find that interesting, that there's both sides of the coin talking about handguns there. And that's where I say I don't know if this is true raw ignorance or if it's grandstanding and just bending and twisting words to fit an agenda. I don't know what it is. But you guys, now is the time to be alert. Now is the time to be involved. Get out and vote. The midterms are coming up. Get out and vote. That is the first, most basic place you can start to make a difference and make your voice heard. This is a government of the people, by the people, for the people, which the people have forgotten. It's too easy to just sit back and listen and, well, the government said so, so it's right. It's not always the case. So, anyways, sorry again for being a little edgy, a little political here, but I do think it's very important. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, found it informative. Be sure to click like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I was reviewing YouTube statistics and whatnot in the studio, and 96% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So right down in the corner of that video, there's a little subscribe button. You can click it actually in the video if you're watching full screen on your mobile, or if you rotate it to portrait mode real quick, there's a subscribe button right there. Be sure to click that. Help the channel grow. Click the notification bell. That should tell you anytime I put up a new video if you're interested, if I didn't lose a bunch of you after this one. And yeah, be sure to check out Idaho Rifleman on Facebook and Instagram as well. As always, I hope you guys have a great week. Take care, stay safe, and God bless. We'll see you next time here on Idaho Rifleman.